Given these facts, we cannot afford to wait. We cannot wait to fix our healthcare system. We cannot wait to fix our schools. We cannot wait to bring an end to global warming. We cannot wait to create good jobs with good wages and good benefits. We cannot wait to bring an end to this war in Iraq and begin to bring our troops home. We cannot wait. We cannot wait. I realized a year ago that the size of our challenges had outstripped the capacity of a broken and divided politics to solve. And I was certain that the American people were hungry for something new. That they wanted a politics that was not about tearing each other down, but was about lifting the country up. That the people wanted a politics not based on ideology, but based on practical common sense. That they wanted not spin and PR, but they wanted honesty and truth and straight talk from their elected officials. In other words, when I decided to run, I was betting on you. I was betting on you. Because I believe that change in America does not happen from the top down. It happens from the bottom up. Some of you know that I got my start in public service as a community organizer, working in Chicago, to helping laid off steel workers who had been laid off their jobs, black, white, Hispanic. On the south side of Chicago, we helped to set up job training programs for the unemployed and after-school programs for youth and trying to bring economic development into these communities. And there's a direct line, a direct path between that work as an organizer and me sitting in the United States Senate. And some of you know that when I first got to the United States Senate, I opened up the drawer of the desk where I was assigned. And it has the names of some of the great senators who have served. They carved their names in their own hand into the desk drawer. And one of those names was somebody who shared with me this belief that change doesn't happen from the top down. A guy named Paul Wellstone. A guy who helped to create a movement here in Minnesota because he believed in you the way I believe in you. And this is part of that movement for change all throughout America. It's an insistence that we are not as divided as our politics would suggest. That we are a decent and generous people, willing to work hard, willing to sacrifice on behalf of future generations. And if we can just join together, get beyond the divisions that separate us and distract us, if we could join our voices together to push back the special interests that have come to dominate our politics and our government, and if we could challenge ourselves to do better, then there was no problem we could not solve, and no destiny we could not fulfill. I believe that this election would not be about black versus white, or young versus old, or rich versus poor. It wouldn't be about genders or regions or ethnicities. It would be between the past and the future. And I am here to report to you, Minnesota, that a year later, my bet has paid off, my faith has been vindicated, because the American people all across the country are standing up and saying, we want something new, we want something different, we want to turn the page, we want to write a new chapter in American history. We've been seeing it everywhere we go. Not just the crowds, but the interest, the engagement. You know, people watching the debates, reading policy papers, coming out to town hall meetings. You know, when we were in Iowa, I kept on saying to some of the pundits, you know, I'm seeing a lot of young people. I think that they are really serious this time. And the pundits and the reporters would say, oh, come on, you always say that. People always say young people are going to come out. They never do. And then on caucus night, you know, I went to one of the caucus sites and I just watched as college students and high school students started streaming in, and they'd shake my hand and they'd say, you know, this is my first election and I'm so excited about the prospect of finally having a voice in my country. And you know, in Iowa, we had as many people 30 and under participate in the caucus as those who were 60 and under. It is unheard of. It has never happened, but it gave you some indication of the spirit that is taking place all across America right now. And we, you know, at these rallies, I'd see independents, and I told all the reporters, you know, I think we're going to have a big turnout from independents. They say, oh, independents never participate in caucuses. They wait till the general election. And then that caucus night, you just saw them filing in. And they'd say to me, you know, I never participated in a caucus before, but I thought this was too important to sit out. I want to make sure that we get it right this time. And then I had to confess to some of these pundits. I said, I think we're going to get some Republicans. I know because they're at my rallies. I know because they whisper to me afterwards as I'm shaking hands. They say, Barack, I'm a Republican. I'm a Republican, but I support you, and I'd say thank you. Why are we whispering? And sure enough, on caucus night, this time they weren't whispering. They'd come out and shout like this guy did, and he'd say, I'm a Republican, but I'm changing registrations so I can participate in this caucus because I too want to bring a change in America. So people have been engaged and people have been involved. Now, I can't take all the credit because we have had some outstanding candidates. Just this past week, John Edwards decided to get out of the race, but John ran an outstanding race. He elevated poverty, talked about the working class. He was true to the Paul Wellstone tradition. I am proud of the work that he did, and he is going to be working alongside me and everybody else to make sure that we bring about the kind of future that we believe in here in America.